first map. It is, of course, going to be Sjaak going up against Harstem. Sjaak, very Dutch name.
Very Dutch name. I'm very proud to have that.
I'm in
Dutch
favor
talent
of
with
pronouncing that as Dutch as possible.
us. Yes, Sjaak.
Sjaak.
There we go.
Sjaakie. That would go. That would be a little bit weird. Now let's just stick to Sjaak as we are setting up the observer lobby here. This was actually the first time that I saw this screen today, and I was like, wow, this looks complicated. Luckily, we have an admin in here. I believe Evelyn is setting that all up, so
Yep,
she knows how this stuff.
She's doing a good job on that. Oh, right, there we go. She's taking control. I was thinking you were setting that up as well. What now?
Yeah, no, Zin is setting it up, and Harstem is a little bit confused to what is happening. Looks like he hasn't really worked with Game Hard as much yet either. So it's fun to see new people experiencing new things.
Yeah, it's a nice overlay. You get to see more of the game and less of the things you don't really care about.
I hope Sjaak has a headset on. That would be.
Harstem is ready though. He's
Yeah.
ready to roll apparently.
Yeah, this PvP series is about to get underway. Of course, FnaticHarstem, a really big team he's been playing for. He's been picked up by them, I think, 6-7 months ago now.
Yep, Fnatic is a team I know all about. They picked up one of our players from Climatology as well, so yeah. Very good team. Harstem is a talent from Holland and one of the favorites for this evening. And we're going to be casting him here live on Belgian Prestige.
Yeah, we've already seen that the other favorite was able to win his first round of 8 match. In the winners bracket, of course, Liquid Red was able to beat Darko Micron 2-1. How is the other Dutch favorite going to do here? He's got a tough opponent in Sjaak, and it is a PvP. Anything can happen.
Yep, and we've got some crowd here over at the second stream right now. So guys, give it up for FnaticHarstem. And his opponent, the young Dutch talent, Knights Gaming's Sjaak.
Very balanced cheers, I want to say. Good job, not a real clear favorite coming out of there.
We're being
That's
clear biased, but they're not. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. But no, I'm not really biased, as in I don't really mind who's gonna win. But the favorite definitely is Harstem. He's the better player. He's on a super high level team, one of the best teams in Europe. He's got great practice partners. Whereas Sjaak, he's a little bit more unknown. He can really prove himself by taking out Harstem here.
You know, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna say Sjaak's gonna do this. I believe it. I think Sjaak's actually gonna do this.
You believe that Sjaak can do it?
Yes, I do. I've seen him play, and I've seen him improve so much the last few games, and the last few series. I think it's time for him to prove himself. You're always gonna have some new guys showing up in a DSCL or something. I think it's possible.
Okay, well, I'm hoping it's going to be a close series, to say the least. We are on Belgier Vestige, of course, also known as Ohana, but then with a little bit bigger.
True.
Big
true,
Ohana.
True.
It is basically Ohana, just a little bit more space added to the sides. Your natural and your third base are a bit closer together, easier to take, easier to defend, and there's actually an opportunity to take a fourth base, a lot more than there was so on Ohana. I really love that they've expanded on the tile set and the theme that Ohana was, and basically made it balanced, and the result was Belgier Vestige.
Ohana and a tree made baby.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. Looks like there's got to be some scouting from both players, being really secure about it, making sure there's no proxies anywhere, no hidden stuff, and they will find each other soon enough, as there's no real cheesy things going on the map so far, but they don't know that. 7-9 score coming up for both players, and I think they both took 2 gas. You do see a little bit of a variation. FnaticHarstem passes the game. There we go.
Yeah, Paul's going down by Harstem. Could be for any reason. He might be able to hear us.
That's a possibility.
That's been a problem earlier today.
Yes. You never want to hear us.
Yeah,
especially in here.
Especially you. Yeah.
I know, right? Thank you so much.
Alright, looks like Harstem was able to solve that small issue that he had. We're going to resume the game here as we see a Zealot is coming out of the gateway for Sjaak here, whereas Harstem, he hasn't started the Zealot yet, so he's going to be playing a double gateway style here, which could mean we're going to see 3 or maybe even 5 early Stalkers out of him. Yes. Maybe a Stargate follow-up into an expansion. A lot of possibilities still open for Harstem.
So far, I'm thinking it's going to be Stargate for Sjaak. He's mining the gas with full efficiency, where Harstem has been using 2 guys in gas the whole time, so he only has 4 probes committed to that, and Sjaak's really getting more gas intake. You can already see that bundling up a little bit. He also opted to go for the Zealot first, which doesn't cost any gas, of course, to try and chase the Protoss probe away. He's going for a sentry now. We'll see what he follows it up with.
Looks a bit like something. Is he getting a mothership core early on? No, actually,
No,
Sjaak
Stargate.
is not getting an early mothership core. He's going to be going and opening with the Stargate here, dropping that down just as the probe of Harstem was forced to leave. So Harstem didn't get to see any of that. He does see the double gas. He has seen the Zealot and the Sentry. So he knows that it's most likely a Stargate to follow, but he doesn't know for sure. Could very well be a blink build for Harstem here. That's not going to be the Twilight Council, actually. It's going to be another Stargate being dropped by... another gateway being dropped by Harstem.
Yep, looks like he's gonna go for some gateways to secure possibly an expansion or something like that. At least get on the map, get some map control. He's also moving out the mothership core quite far onto the map right now. Gets the Stalker on the map as well. Has a probe at the watchtower. He has a good idea what's going on the map, but he doesn't have a really good idea what's going on in Sjaak's space. And he needs to scout the fact that there's an Oracle coming as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we are going to get into that scenario in PvP where both players are getting a Stargate, and that can be really entertaining to watch. What are they going to get out of that Stargate? Of course, the Oracle has already been started for our blue Protoss player, but Harstem on the other hand, for example, we talked about this earlier, if Harstem decides to make a Phoenix, all of a sudden your Oracle is dead. It's not going to survive. It's a wasted investment. But then again, if he makes an Oracle, we could see some really funky engagements.
Yep, Oracle against Oracle action means there's not enough room for the probes on this map, usually. We do see a Phoenix being chrono boosted out by Sjaak right now, though. So that's going to change it up a little bit, see what Harstem's going to do with that Stargate. We see a little bit of poking in and out with the Mothership Core and some Stalkers, but I don't know how much he can do with this, because it is going to be 3 gateways against 3 gateways, and an air army against an air army. The only difference is that Sjaak's already going to have the Phoenix, and it looks like Harstem is going to go ahead and make that Oracle.
Yeah, the Oracle for Sjaak is now in the main base of Harstem, but at my time the Stalker's getting some good shots. Is it going to get the last shot it needs? No, it doesn't. The Oracle stays alive with 10 HP. That's good news for Sjaak. Was able to kill some workers there. Only one, though. Only one worker killed. Not a lot of damage done by that Oracle. Only able to get single probe.
Yep, and we see a huge engagement with the slowest units possible, as both of these opponents do time warp each other. A lot of Zealots going down, and the Mothership Core is under fire from Harstem. But does survive there. A lot of Zealots were lost, but nothing major. I feel like a little bit of poking in, though.
Yeah, a very Zealot-heavy composition here by Sjaak. He cannot really engage these Stalkers directly. I'm not sure what he's hoping to do here. He's hoping to bring his Phoenix over.
Yes, there we go.
And that's
the Phoenix
exactly what he
lifting
does.
up the sentry. Really good job, but the Phoenix will also be able to kill the Mothership Core, and he actually gets into a decent position here.
Yeah, he does. Those Phoenix came as a surprise for Harstem. He's like, oh man, I need to get back home. I only have 4 Stalkers. You have 3. Phoenix, if you lift up my Stalkers, I'm in some trouble. They might get picked off one by one. Harstem is definitely in a bit of a disadvantaged position right now. I'd say Sjaak is ahead in supply, has 1 extra worker. That's not going to be making the difference, but still.
No, 1 worker, not that big of a deal. And he is going to go ahead and lose his Oracle, it looks like. No, actually a misclick by Harstem right there. And a misclick from Sjaak as well, a little bit attacking the Stargate. And then the Stalker does get 1 kill. More than 0, I guess, but that could have gone a little bit better for him. Phoenix moving across the map, getting some map control. I expect he's gonna make a robo right now, but I think he can expand behind this quite early on here.
Yeah, both players playing very conservative right now. Neither one committing to a Nexus yet. And it looks like Sjaak is gonna be the one to do that first, because the probe that Harstem sent out is gonna get lifted by those Phoenix and it dies off. There's a probe in position to build that expansion and it is going down. In the meantime, that Oracle is coming in the natural. Is it going to go in the main? It is going to go in the main. There's nothing in position to defend right now. Some sentries being warped in by Sjaak, but they're not going to do too well against that Oracle. And this Oracle is going to get a lot of kills here in the main base of Sjaak.
Yep, Harstem's Oracle doing a lot better than Sjaak's Oracle, but right now it does get targeted down quite fast by the Nexus Cannon. Getting a decent amount of kills, but not over yet or anything for Sjaak here. His expansion is down, and Harstem actually didn't throw down an expansion after that probe was picked off. So a little bit behind there, and the Phoenix get a small rain here as well, picking up 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 probes killed, and that evens it out a little bit.
Oh, he doesn't control his Phoenix.
Oh,
Sjaak needs to pay attention, does lose 1 of them and loses a lot of HP on the second one, was focusing his attention elsewhere. Harstem now expanding to his natural that has been seen by Sjaak. He sees the natural, he's going to move his units back home and will be focusing on the economy. The blink also about to finish for Harstem.
Yep, but one of the big deals though, Sjaak's expansion will just be up a lot earlier here. He's still keeping his Phoenix active, only 2 Stalkers, so there are going to be another set of probes being lifted off. However, big move out by Harstem right now. I think he wants to put some pressure on his opponent here.
But how much can he really do? The Nexus is done. The only timing that Harstem can hit right now is before Photon Overcharge gets available. There's only 80 energy on the Mothership core. He needs 20 more to be able to throw that down. So Harstem does have a bit of a window, but that Immortal is going to make such a big difference. The pylon will fall. That might supply block Sjaak a little. With some decent force-suits, but Blink is of course done. So Harstem's going to continue to push in here. Photon Overcharge available in 5 seconds.
Yep, and these Phoenix were still being annoying in the main base, by the way, but this looks like it's a little bit too much from Harstem here for Sjaak to handle. But some good Blink micro by Harstem right there, keeping all of his Stalkers alive. Does lose 1 cell, but that's not that big of a deal. The Nexus Overcharge being used, and the Mothership core will be out of energy for the next engagement here.
Yeah, it's going to be a while though. Sjaak is buying himself a lot of valuable time to get that second Immortal out. So important. He doesn't have enough energy, like you pointed out, for another Photon Overcharge. So another 30 seconds before that Photon Overcharge runs out. That's the time that he has. Trying to engage these Stalkers, but they just blink back. They pick up a Zealot, but loses one of his own Zealots. So that engagement was not really favorable for anyone. The blink forward by Harstem gets another Zealot, and he continues to pick off units, which is exactly what you have to do against a unit composition like this. Go in, kill a Zealot, blink out. That's worth it already. Go back in 20 seconds later when you have blinked done.
Yep, and the Photon Overcharge has stopped right now. There's only there's 2 Immortals out, so he has to be a little bit cautious here. There's also, once again, Phoenixes harassing the mineral line, killing so many probes from Harstem right now. This expansion is basically useless at this point.
Yeah, it's insane how many workers have been killed by those Phoenix. 16! So Harstem is in a bit of an economic, difficult position. He's trying to keep up. He's reproducing his probes though. He's only down by about 5, 6, 7 probes, so not the biggest deal. Loses a Stalker there trying to blink out, but he takes a Zealot in return. The sentries, they're moving forward. 3 Immortals right now. Harstem can no longer try to straight up engage this. Those Immortals are going to kill his Stalkers oh so quickly, and he will be forced to retreat and has to start thinking about a follow-up. Harstem, there he goes. He's going to drop the Robotics Bay.
Yep, he has had some good blink micro, but against 3 Immortals are basically one-shots the Stalkers. There's not going to be enough time to blink away from it. I think it almost does actually. It does like 150 damage or so it should be close enough. Really hard to blink micro against that anyway, and we have once again the Phoenix being a little bit annoying, but looks like one does get taken out at this point. And there are some units from Harstem in the main base from Sjaak actually, picking off some of these probes. I don't know how many went down, but this is huge, I feel like.
Well, if you press Ctrl W, we can find out how many workers have been killed.
There we go. 21 to 17 right now, and that is not what he wanted to have happen there. Sjaak was way ahead in the in that department for a long time, but right now Harstem is putting it back.
Harstem caught up in one single move. That blink in into the main base was absolutely vital.
Yep.
He was down in supply. His Robotech was so much later. His Colossi were going to be out on the field later because his opponent had that down so much earlier. But in fact, Sjaak has not produced a single Colossus yet. He's continuing his Immortal production. I think he wants to hit some form of a timing and deal with Harstem before we start to get into the Colossi mid-game. As you can see, the Robotics Bay for Sjaak has been done for at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 in-game minutes. He's just not producing anything out of it. He wants to kill Harstem. Actually, he did make 1 Colossus, excuse me. That's a bit of an oversight.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
So only a single Colossus being produced, and now he's going to kill his opponent with that single Colossus.
It was almost right. It was almost right. He is Immortal heavy, so that's good analysis there, right there. We are going to see this crash into the natural expansion. He doesn't have that much to deal with it actually. Loses 1 Zealot straight away. Nexus Overcharge going down. Loses the Sentry as well. I don't know if this is enough to break it, but it's going to be a little bit closer.
Well, it's going to be difficult hold for Harstem here. He needs to retreat back into the main base. That Colossus of Sjaak still on full HP and doing a lot of damage to Colossus.
Colossus goes down.
Harstem is at 78 supply to 89 supply of Sjaak, but most of that supply is caught up in workers for Harstem because he's got so many of them. The Blink Stalker is now going to be returning back to base for Harstem. He needs to snipe those Immortals oh so badly, but does he have enough Stalkers to be able to do so? The Photon Overcharge is still going strong and killing off a lot of units. That Nexus being very important.
Yep, and right now he also unpowered the Robotics Bay and the Robotic Facility, so no more Colossus, no more range, nothing on the way right now. This is going to be a very big deal for Harstem in the future engagement, and these Immortals are putting their names to the test and just not dying.
Yeah, they're really immortal this time around. Those immortals got 9 and 11 kills. They are winning the game for Sjaak here. Harstem forced to evacuate units out of his natural. He doesn't have an awful lot left. He does still have an Oracle that is going to come into the natural and try to do some counter-harass damage here. But the army for Sjaak, it is pretty close to invincible right now. The photon overcharge is still going strong. But finally the Nexus falls.
Yeah, but we do have a little bit of a counterattack in the form of 1 Oracle killing 9 and 10 probes there. So that's a good counter by Harstem, but it's not as much damage as he took there.
No, he just equalized the worker count, and when your opponent has this much of an army advantage and a natural that he's going to be mining off, it doesn't matter that you're on the same amount of probes. Harstem is in the most difficult position ever. He will have a Void Ray, he will have a Colossus, he will have range. That is something his opponent doesn't. His Colossi do not have range, he does not have any Void Rays, but still, I see a very difficult task ahead for Harstem. Even though there's no anti-air present yet. Here come the Stalkers. Is he going to turn around and fight? Sjaak is going to wait for a second Colossus.
Yep.
Now he's going to go for it.
Yeah, now he's going to go for it. And nice time warp actually by Sjaak there, delaying a lot of the units to go back. But this Void Ray is doing a very good job so far, killing some of the Immortals, killing some of the other units. And not that much anti-air, but some Stalkers joining the fray. Gonna clean that up for Sjaak. Expansion's gonna get cancelled, and I'm just waiting for the GG from Harstem at this point.
Yeah, Harstem down to 63 supply. Sjaak even has an upgrade advantage. He was able to research +1. He does have that natural up and mining, has both gases running. He's got an insane income. He's got a Dark Shrine on the way to put even more hurt on Harstem here, who's already in a difficult position, trying to retake his natural. It's just not going to happen with 3 Colossi there. They've got so much DPS output. Here comes the last stand by Harstem. Everything dies off so quickly though. Is going to try to retreat, but he knows it's pointless. GG!
GG!